You're on mute. Huh? You're on mute. Oh, but there's nothing happening. You were asked. I did it. Oh. I did it. I'm on mute. Okay.
I can't get to me. Yeah, they hear me.
Vina, are we ready to start?
Yes, just it is
Okay.
7:30.
I can't get my video.
I don't, this is Jim Con. I don't see the whole panel either. I had a little trouble getting in.
For some reason, I can't.
Can you see us?
I see Larry.
Say yes. Kim, say yes to yes. We can see you now.
You can see
Okay.
me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't.
Anyone else needs an invite for the video? I think we have. Do we have everybody, Kim?
We had a whole bunch of people before. I don't know what happened to everybody.
Exactly, because I see fewer members now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Someone's coming in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think she's here.
Oh, there she is. I see Roseanne. Okay.
We are ready.
Okay, we're ready to roll? Okay, if we can all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the
and to the
republic
republic
for which it stands, one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty
and
and
justice
justice
for all. I gotta unmute some people.
Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Lawrence Sachs. I am the attorney for the zoning board. At this time, I'd like to read the public notice. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Old Bridge Township Zoning Board of Adjustment has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of the meeting by 1, prominently posting in the municipal complex an announcement giving the time, date, location, and agenda of this meeting. 2, mailing such announcement to the Home News and Tribune. And 3, filing a copy of such announcement with the municipal clerk. Ms. Silverman, can you please call the roll?
Yes. Mr. Dewhurst?
Here.
Ms. Chevalier?
Here.
Mr. Connor?
Here,
Ms. Kilduff?
Here.
Mr. Scogno?
Here,
Miss Andrews? I see her, yes. Mr. Psychowski?
Here.
Mr. Stoner?
Yeah.
Mr. Sullivan?
yes, here.
Mr. Sachs?
Here.
Ms. Sawant?
Here.
And myself, Kim Silverman.
Okay. As everyone knows, tonight is our annual reorganization meeting where we give ourselves some validity for the upcoming year in 2021, where we have to reorganize, elect officers, and appoint professionals. So the first order of business is the appointment of a chairman of the Old Bridge Township Zoning Board of Adjustment for the year 2021. Do I have any nominations for chairman?
this
I'd like
is
to
Connor. I nominate James Sullivan as chairman.
Okay, is there a second on that?
I'll
This is
second.
Leon Scott.
Mr.
Okay.
Dewhurst.
All right, Mr. Dewhurst is second. Mr. Connor made the motion. Are there any other nominations for chairman? Seeing none, at this point, I will close the nominations for chairman. Ms. Silverman, if you can please call the roll.
Mr. Dewhurst?
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier?
Yes.
Mr. Connor?
Yes,
Ms. Kilduff?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes,
Ms. Andrews? I see your hand waving. Mr. Sullivan?
yes.
Now Chairman Sullivan.
Yes, congratulations, Mr. Chairman. I'll turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. I thank all the board members for their confidence in allowing me to lead the board for 2021. We'll move right on to the next nomination. That would be for vice chairman. I'd like to nominate John Dewhurst. Is there a second?
This is Connor. I will second.
Is there any other nominations for vice chairman? All right, hearing none, I'll close the nominations for vice chairman. Roll call, please, on Mr. Dewhurst.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews. I
Ms.
see-
Andrews, if you can unmute yourself, maybe. Can you do that on your computer?
She's having a
Okay.
problem with the,
Okay, that's
she can
fine.
unmute herself.
All right.
For the record, she has waved her hand in the affirmative.
So
And
the waving of the hand will signify an affirmance.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Chairman Sullivan,
Yes. The next nomination for position on the board would be the secretary. And as to that, I'd like to nominate Mr. Jim Connor. I'd welcome a second.
I'll second, Mr. Dewhurst.
Is there any other nominee for secretary of the board? Hearing none, I'll close it. Ms. Silverman, roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews. I can't see her. Did we lose her?
Well, we will work that out by next meeting.
No, she's back.
Here
She's
she
back.
is. Okay.
Okay, I'm calling you now to just wave. Okay. And Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. Final nomination for the board would be for vice secretary. And once again, I'd like to nominate Tim Silverman. I'd welcome a second.
Scogno, second.
Are there any other nominees for vice chairman, vice secretary? All right, hearing none, I'll close that. Ms. Silverman, roll call on yourself, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews, and Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. Congratulations to John, to Jim, and certainly to Kim. We've all worked well together in the past. I'm sure we will again in 2021. Having said that, the board, we obviously have more appointments to do. The next one is going to be for the board attorney. It would be my honor, once again, to nominate Lawrence B. Sachs for zoning board attorney. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Scogno.
Roll call, please, on Mr. Sachs.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews, and Chairman Sullivan.
Absolutely. Larry, once again, we look forward to your guidance. Thank you very much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board. Look forward to serving you and guiding you for this year. Thank you very much.
Great. We do need an alternative or a conflict attorney. So my suggestion on this would be Joseph Sordillo, Esquire, from DeFrancisco Bateman. Would there be a second to that nominee?
I'll second it.
Roll call, please, Ms. Silverman.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews, I see you waving. Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. We move on to appointment of consultants and board members. I'm going to ask a favor for continuity and so we don't talk over each other. I have a list of planner consultants, traffic consultants, and engineer consultants that are going to be recommended for appointment by the board. I will nominate them. I'm going to ask the vice chairman to second them should he see fit. And then we will take a roll call. If anybody has an objection, you can express that in Mr. Sachs, that would be proper, correct?
Yes, it would, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. All right, so board members, I'm going to go through 3 different planner consultants. We'll take a vote on each one. The first one I'd like to nominate is Environmental Resolutions, Inc. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, once again, board members, if you have an objection, you do so in your vote. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
yes,
Mr. Scogno,
yes,
Ms. Andrews, Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. The second one would be, we're going to have 3. The second one will be CME Associates. Is there a second?
I will second.
Roll call, please, Ms. Silverman.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
yes,
Mr. Scogno,
yes,
Ms. Andrews, Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. For the record, once again, Ms. Andrews is signifying an affirmative vote by, I know that maybe people can't see this at home, but she is signifying an affirmative vote that's witnessed by the board and by Ms. Silverman. The third one would be Harbor Consultants, Inc. for planning consultants. Is there a second?
I will second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
yes,
Mr. Scogno,
yes,
Ms. Andrews, Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. We'll move on to traffic consultants, board members. There are 2. I'll do them in order of as I have them written. CME Associates would be the first one I would nominate for traffic consultants.
Second.
Second, Mr. Dewhurst, roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
yes,
Mr. Scogno,
yes,
Ms. Andrews, Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. Second consultant for traffic would be Environmental Resolutions, Inc. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
yes,
Mr. Scogno,
yes,
Ms. Andrews, Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. We'll move on to engineering consultants. There's going to be 2 board members. The first one would be Delaware Raritan Engineering. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
yes,
Mr. Scogno,
yes,
Ms. Andrews, Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. Secondly would be Environmental Resolutions, Inc.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
yes,
Mr. Scogno,
yes,
Ms. Andrews, Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. There'll be one last one on engineering consultants, and that'll be CME Associates.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
yes,
Mr. Scogno,
yes,
Ms. Andrews, just waiting, Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. All right, we'll move on to forestry services. For those watching at home, there is obviously a need for the board to have the use of a forester, professional services and a tree expert. Once again, I would like to nominate Gary Lavallo of Chestnut Arboricultural and Forestry Services. Is there a second?
I will second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
yes,
Mr. Scogno,
yes,
Ms. Andrews, Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. And finally, board members, before we go to the regular meeting, we need to adopt the rules and regulations for 2020. We've had no changes. They would be identical as we had last year. I'm sure everyone has taken the time to read them. I would ask someone to move them for adoption.
Scogno moving for adoption,
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved in second for adoption. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Geldof,
yes,
Mr. Scogno,
yes,
Ms. Andrews, Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. Board members, that concludes the reorganization part of the meeting. That went rather smooth, a lot smoother than I anticipated. And I'm glad and we welcome to the board Mrs. Roseanne Andrews. So you can wave your hand. It's a pleasure to have you serve with us. And we look forward to you helping us make decisions on behalf of the zoning issues in the township. I welcome everybody at home. I wish you all a happy new year if you're tuning in. There is no public portion tonight if you're waiting for anything. There's only some housekeeping issues that we have and a completeness waiver and I believe some resolutions, and of course the resolutions for the appointees. Welcome you to continue to watch, but if you were waiting for any particular application this evening, you're watching from home, it's not going to happen, but we will pick up, I believe, again on the, what is it, the 21st, again, next meeting?
Yes.
And we will have applications at that time. We thank you for tuning in if you are. Board members, as to item 6 on the agenda, it's the minutes from December 3rd, 2020. Hopefully, absent any commentary or suggestions for additions or deletions, I'd ask someone to move them for adoption.
I move it.
Motion to approve.
Wait, who got it?
Ben.
I believe Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Okay.
and who was second? Mr. Psychowski, is that you waving your hand? No, it wasn't you, okay. Mr.
Scogno, second,
Okay, I thought I heard that. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Geldof,
yes,
Mr. Scogno,
yes,
Mr. Psychowski,
Yes.
Mr. Stoner,
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. The next item on the agenda this evening is a completeness waiver, and it's 83-20Z, 2G, Poor Farm LLC. It's block 5,000, lot 20. Robert McGowan, Esquire, is representing. I'm going to read into the record a memo from Venus Sawant, the Township Planner, authored January 5th, 2021, in reference to this application. Subject property, also known as Block 5000, Lot 20, is located on Poor Farm Road. The site consists of a single lot totaling approximately 8 acres for township tax records. The subject property is located in the R20 zone. Currently, the site is vacant and full of natural vegetation. The applicant proposes to subdivide the property and create 42 dwelling units with a mix of duplexes and townhouses. The application involves a bulk variance and a D variance. Our office has reviewed the waiver request by the applicant for the following. Item 28, original instrument covering easements to be conveyed to the municipality. Item 29, HOA documents. Item 31, new lot numbers. Item 49, statement indicating final plans agree with the signed preliminary plans. The applicant is seeking a temporary waiver of item 28, the original instrument covering easements to be conveyed to the municipality, and item 29, the documents. The easements are currently shown on the plans. The applicant is requesting that the required deeds be submitted as a condition of approval. This office has no objection to waiving both items temporarily. Please be advised that should the board act favorably upon this application, submission of a deed covering the easement and the HOA documents will be required as a condition of approval. Item 31, new lot numbers. This item is required for any approvals related to a subdivision application. This office recommends that this item not be waived and that the applicant submit his item. New lot numbers can be obtained from the engineering department. Please contact Dave Paul at a given phone number or via email. Item 49 is not applicable as this is an application for preliminary and final subdivision. The applicant should be advised that the waiving of any completeness item does not constitute approval of any portion of the application, and that any information found necessary during the review process must be supplied. Mr. McGowan, I'll let you go, and then I'll ask Ms. Sawant for any comments. Good evening, sir. You're muted.
There,
Oh. Okay.
How do we do that? Wait, attendees?
Hold on one second. We'll try to get you in. Um,
I don't know.
I did hear his voice before the meeting.
you know what? Unless well, no, it looks like unless he's muted on his computer. I don't know.
Could he call in?
He's got a phone going there.
Mr. McGowan, is your phone
Good
number
evening.
ending in 3267?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
We can hear you now.
Now we can hear you.
Sorry, for whatever reason, the mic on my computer isn't working, so we had to do both. Good evening, members of the board. Thank you. I have read Vina's memo to the board, and the board, of course, has listened to it. We defer to her comments, would ask that the board accept her recommendations.
Thank you, Mr. McGowan. Ms. Sawant?
Actually, I have no further comments. I just want to let the board know that the one item that I have requested that the board deny, actually the engineering department has already issued a letter yesterday with the new lot numbers. So that item has been addressed by the applicant already. The HOA documents and the deed restrictions deeds should be filed should the board act favorably on the application. But the last item was actually not applicable to this application.
Okay, that's item 49, I assume you're talking about.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you very much. Mr. McGowan, that's
We agree.
agreeable for your client?
Absolutely, and Vina is correct. We have already received the information from Dave Hall, and we thank him.
Thank you very much, sir. Any other comment you'd like to make before I go for a vote?
None, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, you heard the waiver. You've heard from the applicant's attorney and from the township planner. I'd ask someone to move to approve the waiver or deny.
Jim, I have a question first.
Go ahead, John.
We are voting on item 28 and 29 only. Is that correct?
That's the way it sounds, yes.
Okay. I'll move it.
Hold on, am I correct, Ms. Sawant? It's 28, 29.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah, that is correct, Vice Chairman.
Okay.
All
I'll
right.
move it.
Any other questions before we take a vote? Okay, it's moved. Is there a second?
Second, Kilda.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst?
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier? Doreen? Wave, I'll see you.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Connor?
You're muted, Jim.
Where is he? Oh,
Up top. Jim, you're muted. There we go. Nope.
Yeah.
He's frozen.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on.
perhaps time has stopped in his house. Continue with the vote and we'll see if we do.
Okay, Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews? You can wave.
I can't read.
I can't read what she
Hold it up
said.
a little higher.
She said abstain.
Abstain. Okay,
Abstain,
that's
okay.
fine. Okay.
Okay, Chairman Sullivan?
Yes, Mr. Connor, do you back online? Can
Jim
you hear us?
Connor? He's off mute.
I think he's been
Well,
inducted.
you know, well, all of a sudden he gets appointed the board secretary and he's holding out for a salary increase. So he knows he gets nothing. So we'll mark him down as no vote.
No vote?
I guess I didn't see him do it.
You know, it's not a no in a denial, but that he did not vote. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
He did not
Okay.
vote. Okay.
So do I put abstain?
No, just he did not vote.
It looks like it's frozen on his end.
That's all right. We
Yeah.
have enough votes here, so it's
Okay.
fine.
I'm just verifying.
Thank you, Mr. McGowan. I'm sorry for the technical delay on our end as well. Okay. Good night and Happy New Year to you, sir. Under resolutions, we're going to, we have one older resolution that Mr. Sachs is going to handle, and then we'll go to all our resolutions for the appointees. The resolution is 16-19Z, 220 Gordon Road LLC. Mr. Sachs.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Actually, this is a resolution that we actually adopted back on May 7th of 2020. Vina recently contacted me and brought to my attention that some of the design waivers that were listed in the staff report were not included in the resolution. So all we're doing today is a little bit of housekeeping, and we are basically just we're making paragraph 3 consistent, and this would be on page 3 with the actual waivers that were granted at the time, and as well on page 4. So it's substantively, there's no change to the resolution. There's just a change on pages 3 and 4 to have an accurate listing of the design waivers.
Okay, and the applicant's attorney is aware, correct?
The applicant's attorney will be made aware. I'm going to send them a copy of this.
Okay.
So they already have the approval. I'll let them know.
Right,
that-
I was aware we approved it, but then we were talking about some amendments.
Yeah, it was actually in the staff report, but it omitted from the resolution. So
Okay.
I'll make sure he's aware of it.
Any questions? Raise your hand so I can see you. None, okay. Most of you, I'm sure, remember this because almost everybody was at every meeting. So we'll still take a new vote on this, correct, Mr. Sacks?
Yes.
Someone want to move it as amended, please? I'll move it as amended. Is there a second?
Scogno, second.
Okay, moved in second. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Mr. Connor. Jim?
I think we lost Mr. Connor.
I think it's like frozen over there. Okay. Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Mr. Psychowski? Oh, okay.
He
Yeah.
doesn't have sound either, but we got to.
Yes, sorry, yes.
There you go.
Okay. Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. Okay. What we're going to do now is all the appointees, we're going to move by resolution. We will do them individually, however. So board members, you can bear with me. I'm going to do Mr. Sax's first. I'm going to read into the record resolution for whereas there exists a need for the attorney services for the zoning board of adjustment of the Township of Old Bridge, known as the board, for the period of January 1, 2021 through December 30, 2021. Whereas pursuant to NJSA 19:44A-20 at SEC, the board determined to implement a fair and open process for the procurement of such services, and whereas a request for proposals was issued and responses received, and whereas the individual of the firm set forth below has been deemed qualified to provide the necessary services and agreed to provide same at rates established, and whereas the board has determined that the following individual and or firm are to be named named its zoning board attorney, Lawrence B. Sachs, Esquire, Our Court, East Brunswick, New Jersey. Whereas the board hereby confirms and ratifies the work performed to date by the zoning board of attorney, Lawrence B. Sachs, Esquire. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the zoning board of adjustment of the Township of Old Bridge hereby authorizes the board chairperson, and board secretary to execute professional services agreement with attorney Lawrence B. Sachs, consistent with the terms of the RFP and within appointment. And be it resolved, such services shall be performed in accordance with the regulation of the Department of Local Government Services. As read, to be signed by the board secretary upon approval. Someone want to move the resolution?
I'll move it.
Is there a second?
Second, Kilda.
Roll call, please, for Mr. Sachs.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor? Oh. Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews? I see her waving. Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. The second one would be for Joseph Sordillo, Esquire. I'll quickly read that in as well. Alternate zoning board attorney resolution, whereas there exists a need for an alternate services for the zoning board of adjustment for the period of January 1 through December 31st. Pursuant to 19:44A-20, the board determined to implement an open process. RFPs were issued and responses received. The individual firms set forth below has been deemed qualified, and the board has determined that the following individual and her firm are to be named its alternate attorney. Joseph Stordilla, Esquire, D. Francisco Bateman, Cousin Davis, Lair, and Flam, Mountain Boulevard in Warren. Whereas the board confirms and ratifies the work performed by date by the attorney. Be it resolved that the services to be performed in accordance with Regulation Department of Local Government Services that will be signed by the board secretary upon approval. Is there someone willing to move that for adoption?
I'll move it.
Mr. Dewhurst, is there a second?
Second, Kilduff.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
did we lose Mr. Connor?
I'm going to make a phone call right now. I'm going to mute myself, so give me a second.
Okay, so okay. Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews? Okay, so you're waving. Chairman Sullivan?
My vote is yes, and just give me 1 second, all right?
Okay.
Okay, I did find out that his house is frozen in time. But his computer is frozen and he's trying to get back in. So as soon as he can, I told him to get back to us.
Okay.
He is
Okay.
fine, and he has nothing, so he's not, he doesn't see us either, so. So how would we don't want a negative vote, correct, Larry? It would just be.
No, that's okay. You could just indicate he did not participate. That's all.
Okay,
So
very,
you can call the rest of the roll, Kim. That's fine.
I did already.
Oh, you did? Okay, fine.
yep,
Okay.
that's cool.
All
That was for, I need one more.
That was for the attorneys.
Yep, and I'm gonna do the forestry one right now. Whereas there are needs for a professional services certified tree expert and forester to ensure full compliance with the tree removal ordinance of the Township of Old Bridge and challenges asserted to the application of the tree removal ordinance. And whereas said professional services shall be charged to escrow as permitted and provided in section 250-105 of the LDO of the Township of Old Bridge. Whereas Gally Lavallo, CD, CTE of Chestnut Arboricultural and Forestry Services LLC has submitted a proposal indicating that he will provide the services of a certified tree expert and forester to the board for the period January 1, 21 through 12/31/21. And where Mr. Savallo has completed and submitted a business entity disclosure certification, which certifies that he has not made any reportable contributions to a political candidate committee in the Township Council of the Township of Old Bridge in the previous year, and that the contract will prohibit him from making any reportable contributions through the term of the contract. And whereas the board feels it's in the best interest of the township to enter into an agreement with Mr. Zavallo for professional services. And whereas this contract is awarded through fair and open process pursuant to 19:44A-20.4 et sec. It's awarded without competitive bidding as a professional service under the local public contracts law, which permits such work to be performed without advertising for bids. Whereas the professional services rendered will not exceed the sum of $25,000. Now be it resolved, the zoning board of the Township of Old Bridge does hereby memorialize this resolution. This action taken by the board at its meeting on January 7, 2021, appointing Gary Lovallo as certified tree expert and forester for the board. This will be signed by the board secretary upon a affirmative vote. Is there someone who wants to move the resolution?
Scogno, move it.
Mr. Scogno, you beat me to it. I'll second. We can have a roll call, Ms. Silverman.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier.
Yes.
I don't see Mr. Connor. Ms. Keldorf,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews. I see you waving. Chairman Sullivan.
Mr. Sullivan votes yes. Mr. Sachs, I'm going to rely on you to help me out on the following. I don't want to read each and every contract, but I think we can do individual names, correct?
Yeah, what I'll do, Mr. Chairman, is if you want, I'll read the 3 resolutions for planner, consultant, traffic consultant, engineering consultant. I'll indicate the appointees, and then we can just vote on them as a block. All right.
Thank you. I would appreciate if we do that in a legal fashion. Yes, thank you.
All right, fine. All right, so the first one would be consultant planner resolution, whereas there exists a need for consulting planner services for the zoning board of adjustment of the township of Old Bridge for the period January 1, 2021 through December 31, 2021, and whereas pursuant to NJSA 19:44A-20 et sec, the board determined to implement a fair and open process for the procurement of such services, and whereas a request for proposals was issued and responses received, and whereas the individuals of the firms set forth below have been deemed qualified to provide the necessary services and agreed to provide same at rates established, and whereas the board has determined that the following individual and/or firms are to be named its consulting planner, that being Environmental Resolutions, Inc., CME Associates, and Harbor Consultants, Inc., whereas the board hereby confirms and ratifies the work performed to date by the consulting planners. Now therefore be it resolved by the Zoning Board of Adjustment of the Township of Old Bridge, hereby authorizes the board chairperson and board secretary to execute a professional services agreement with consulting planners consistent with the terms of the RFP and within appointment, and be it resolved that said services be performed in accordance with the regulation of the Division of Local Government Services. And we just need somebody to now move it and second it, and we can go forward.
I'll move it, Mr. Sachs. This is for planner consultants. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Kilduff.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier.
Yes.
I don't see Mr. Connor. Ms. Keldorf,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews. Yep, I see you're waving. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. Back to you, Mr. Sachs.
Okay, next one will be for consulting traffic engineers. Whereas there exists a need for consulting traffic engineering services for the Zoning Board of Adjustment of the Township of Old Bridge for the period of January 1, 2021 through December 31, 2021, and whereas pursuant to NJSA 19:44A-20 et sec, the board determined to implement a fair and open process for the procurement of such services, and whereas a request for proposals was issued and responses received, and whereas the individuals of the firm set forth below have been deemed qualified to provide the necessary services and agreed to provide same at rates established, and whereas the board has determined that the following individual and/or firms are to be named its consulting traffic engineers, that being CME Associates and Environmental Resolutions, Inc., whereas the board hereby confirms and ratifies the work performed to date by the consulting traffic engineers. Now therefore be it resolved by the Zoning Board of Adjustment of the Township of Old Bridge, hereby authorizes the board chairperson and board secretary to execute a professional services agreement with the consulting traffic engineer consistent with the terms of the RFP and within appointment, and be it resolved that said services be performed in accordance with the regulations of the Division of Local Government Services, and we just need somebody to move that.
Board
I'll
members,
move
Who is it? Mr.
Dewhurst.
Mr. Dewhurst.
I'll second it, Scogno.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Keldorf,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews. I see you waving. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. Mr. Sachs.
Okay, next one would be for consulting engineers, consultant engineer resolution, whereas there exists a need for consulting engineer services for the Zoning Board of Adjustment for the Township of Old Bridge for the period January 1, 2021 through December 31, 2021. And whereas pursuant to NJSA 19:44A-20 et sec, the board determined to implement a fair and open process for the procurement of such services. And whereas a request for proposals was issued and responses received. And whereas the individual of the firm set forth below have been deemed qualified to provide the necessary services and agreed to provide same at rates established. And whereas the board has determined that the following individual and/or firms are to be named as consulting engineers, that being Delaware Raritan Engineering, Environmental Resolutions, Inc., and CME Associates. Whereas the board hereby confirms and ratifies the work performed to date by the consulting engineer. Now therefore be it resolved by the Zoning Board of Adjustment of the Township of Old Bridge hereby authorizes the board chairman and board secretary to execute a professional services agreement with the consulting planner consistent with the terms of the RFP and within appointment. And be it resolved that said services be performed in accordance with the regulations of the Division of Local Government Services. Again, we need a motion to move that.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Do I hear a motion?
I'll motion it, Scogno.
Gagno has made a motion. Is there a second?
Second, Kilduff.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Dewhurst,
Yes.
Ms. Chevalier,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Ms. Kilduff,
Yes.
Mr. Scogno,
Yes.
Ms. Andrews. I see you waving. Chairman Sullivan?
Yes. That completes our business on the agenda for the evening. Mr. Sachs, you have anything for the board before we close out tonight?
The only thing I can tell you, Mr. Chairman, is I have a case management conference with Judge McCluskey in New Brunswick, of course, virtually, not in person, on Monday on the Northwoods Manor lawsuit that was filed against the Old Bridge Rifle Club. So again, I assume that the judge will issue a scheduling order, and I'll keep you apprised. Metro Storage, we're in the process of completing briefs, and I believe a trial date in that matter has been set, I believe, for April. And I'll keep you posted on that.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs. Ms. Silverman?
Nope, that's it. The next meeting is January 21st.
Okay. Ms. Swan, anything you want to tell the board?
Nope, nothing.
Okay. And any board member or anything, anybody? Mr. Scott, no, go ahead.
I'd like to congratulate all the nominations for tonight and Happy New Year and welcoming Roseanne Andrews and a happy birthday.
Is it her birthday?
It is. She's saying yes.
Well, we'll all say happy birthday.
Happy
Roseanne.
birthday. I don't sing.
Neither do I. All the best to you. Okay, board members, what did you say, 21st, correct, Kim?
Yes,
And it will be obviously on Zoom again.
yes, you will get an invite. I usually wait so that you don't get them confused.
Okay, well, hopefully Mr. Connor will serve the whole meeting as secretary, not take half of it off when we come back on the 21st.
Jim, I have a pen for him. It's good for signing 2 documents, then it runs out of ink. It's the one I have to use, so I'm going to pass it on.
I think it was the one Bruce used to pass on to you.
That's where I got it, yes. It's the ceremonial secretary pen.
The ceremonial pen.
Make sure you pass the baton on. All right. Happy New Year, everybody. Someone want to move for an adjournment?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Who's
Aye.
standing
Happy New
next?
Year, everybody. See ya.
Take care.
Happy New Year. Good night, everyone.
Happy New
Stay safe.
Year. Bye-bye.
Wait.